Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The World Championship in Seoul coming up very soon indeed. Big updates going on, especially on the Rostermania side. Many teams are there at Seoul, but the teams that aren't, they are blowing it up behind the scenes. And even the teams that are, they have to consider what is going on next for these rosters. Many indications emerging over the last couple of days as to which players are going to be free agents in the off-season. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to leave their teams, but does mean they can consider offers and will need to be re-signed by the franchise they play for if they are to continue, depending big time, especially for a team like Sentinels, at the results of the World Championship. Things may potentially be changing. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, this is kind of cool. Yuki Tsunoda, Formula 1 driver, if you guys aren't aware, number 22, drives for Racing Bulls, whatever they're called this season, has this helmet for this weekend's Belgian Grand Prix with, the interlock jet on the back. It's a Valorant themed helmet. Pretty cool to be fair. I know these F1 drivers come up with all sorts of stuff. They're doing some sort of like Wolverine or whatever promotion with, I think it's like Alpine or something like that this weekend. And like Sergio Perez is promoting stuff. But here you go. Cool little Red Bull Valorant inspired helmet. Of course, you've got the Red Bull home grounds and stuff as well that's happening in the relatively near future. I think even, was it Sentinels confirmed they're going to play in that when that occurs? Quick update on DRX. We saw the rumours of the player that was in the, the harassment controversy, but it was very unclear exactly what was happening here, whether the player was actually from DRX, exactly what the story was, and the person who translated the information from the accuser actually came out today and basically said that they got it wrong, and the allegations are far less severe than they initially sounded. Now, regardless of everything that's happening there, DRX themselves came out with a statement yesterday to basically say, yeah, it's our player. We don't know which player, but DRX did a statement to say that, becoming aware of the severity of this issue, we've initiated an investigation into our own player. Now, we don't know which player it is, but it's always interesting when they have, an internal investigation as well, because if you're going to do it, if you're not going to bring in a third party to investigate, and maybe there's not much actually to it, hopefully there isn't anyway, and we'll see what they come up with. But when the own team is investigating, it always is going to make people think, is there not a bit of a conflict of interest here when you're investigating yourself? Because you can just say, well, yeah, we found nothing wrong and we're going to keep going, because in many sense, it's in their best interests to keep the roster as it is, whatever's going on, with no changes, because that gives them the best chance to try and win the World Championship, right? So, hopefully there's nothing too serious has happened, but they did a statement on it, kind of confirming that the rumours that it's a DRX Valorant player are true, but on which player, what they've done, nobody really knows. Hopefully not all that much. Now, a new agent reveal is coming soon, August the 23rd. Another agent, Clove came not that long ago, and we got a new one. So, there's agents all the time in Valorant. I know they did this in League of Legends. They're going to continue to do it in Valorant. No real surprise, but does feel like there's rather a lot. I wonder where the new map's coming out. We've only just had Abyss, and maybe that's not going to change too far from now. Valorant Champions Bundle, though, finally arrived again for this year. Looks pretty nice this year, not going to lie. And these are the sales over the years. They went from 15 million 21 to 32 to 40, and this year as well, they've got console, they've got China. I think there's going to be some pretty crazy stuff happening this year in terms of this Champions Bundle. 50% of the proceeds go to the teams that qualify and get shared. So it is a big deal, of course. And look, it's a nice looking bundle, as it always is. But yes, they will get a portion, every team, of the 50% shared revenue from the bundle, split into 60 shares. Each team gets one share, and the 16 who qualify for champions receive a second share. So this is kind of interesting, right? That, as well, we literally just mentioned, it used to just be the teams at champions that would get the sales, but instead, if you qualify for champions, you get twice what you'd otherwise get. But still, it's going to be a lot of money for these teams, and this is one of the reasons why they can actually make Valorant profitable, or at least work for some of these franchises. Is sure, they pay the players a lot of money, but if they qualify for champions, and even if they don't, they can get a lot of that back through what is effectively crowdfunding in some sense. This is Sire Player, officially gone from T1. He's going to be a restricted free agent going soon. His contract ends soon. Similar situation to Rossi. This is interesting what T1 are doing, right? Because, getting rid of Rossi, getting rid of Sire Player, to be honest, I thought the whole intention of getting rid of Rossi was, okay, you're going to go down the Korean-speaking route and probably keep Sire Player on the team, but apparently not. So he's gone as well. We have more roster drama coming up as well in the near future. But, Sire Player gone from T1, Rossi gone from T1. What are they cooking up over there? We don't really know the answer to that question right now. This was spotted as well, just, it was at least thrown around, of Scream Scream here in a bit of a Liquid jersey. There's been some talk about whether a return for Scream to Liquid could be on the cards. Seems kind of unlikely to me, but look, we'll see what they decide to do. The whole Carmine Corp thing, the whole Liquid thing over the last couple of years, not exactly gone to plan. This as well, it was on Chet's stream, sharing some screenshots. This is one example of in scrims against, 100T, they played 23 of 24 rounds, and at this point, FNS was 23 and 10 on the deadlock. So there was just some general talk that maybe FNS was, cooking in practice. They were looking good, taking down 100 Thieves comfortably here, but converting that to their matches was a bit of a challenge for them. Let's quickly update you guys on what's going on, by the way, in the North American Tier 2 side. Where did, honestly, this guy, what he's going through right now and the way that he's fighting it is so commendable. And he actually returned yesterday to play in a series against Fluffy Aimers, and they took them down 2-0. So this was just, what a performance, honestly, again, as he continues to, battle hard. But this is the way that it's looking in the upper quarterfinals. And Moist Shopify, they took down Blin. M80 1-2 to Oxford Esports, right, the other day. And, that was a 2-1 victory, a close one. They eventually won the Ascent, though, 13-1. So it was close until then. With an overtime in there and a 13-11 in there, and then they just slammed them on the Ascent, the final map. But, of all these teams that are left now, Sal Esports are gone, Fluffy Aimers are gone. 2 will qualify for Ascension, and the others will not. So, Moist Shopify or M80 will. One of those teams guaranteed will be the favourites, you'd think, if they win this, to make it all the way to Ascension and make it to the league itself. And then the other team will be either between the loser of this and then the winner of these 4 games, which we shall see over, of course, the coming days. And it's the 29th and the 31st that we are going to get all the conclusions to these questions, right? So, thought it was really cool to see. But let's talk about some Rostermania stuff then, right? So Zekken and others, they're out there, of course, already in Seoul, South Korea, getting ready for the World Championship starting in a few days' time. Zekken not so happy about this guy cheating in ranked. And it's funny how it works, isn't it? Because Valorant has a very intrusive anti-cheat, Vanguard, right, that is meant to stop everything. The reality is it works, and it works better than many other anti-cheats in other games, but it can still be bypassed with some of the latest stuff. And that seems to be what 9 Lance is doing. And Zekken says, this guy's just walling super hard in APAC ranked. And then he still goes on to say all that cheating just to lose to me twice in a row. So Zekken clearly, wouldn't say enjoying, but he's out there playing ranked in APAC to get ready for everything that's going to be happening. And, this was just a quick look at the Champions bundle from earlier. And as Zelta says, maybe get it bought so he gets some money. I don't exactly know how the teams are going to operate it in terms of the franchises get the payments. Okay, the 60 shares as they talked about, the franchises get those. How much of that then gets trickled down to the players? I guess that depends on the contract the teams have with the players. There was a couple of years ago some speculation that there was a contract clause that Riot were going to uphold that effectively said that the organizations have to share like half of that money with the players. And it's likely that some of the organizations do have a contract like that, but I'm not sure that it's officially specified anymore. So that's where that some of the dodgier organizations can get into a bit of trouble with their players. But at the same time, there shouldn't be any dodgy organizations because it's meant to be franchising now or partnerships or whatever. So Riot are only meant to choose the best organizations. Whether they really do that, that is another question. But let's talk about this article here that Daniel Appleford put forth on the VCT database on which players are going to be a free agent, right? And there are lots of big names on here. Now, this has happened before with Sentinels and with Tens, and they've re-signed him. But we've got to go through this real quick because these are the notable players in the Americas that are going to be completely free agents. Now, it was confirmed the other day that, for 100T, this is the case. Cryo, Bang, Asuna, EU, Boostio, they're all going to be free agents in the off-season. Any of them can leave for free. They can, of course, re-sign the players if they want to, but that's far from a guarantee. So, looks like 100T, they didn't make the World Championship. They will surely have to consider some sort of moves. And if they do make a move or moves, then you'd think they'd do at least a couple of things. And they are free to do so because their players, they wouldn't have to buy off their players or whatever to get them out of their contracts. They're going to be free anyway. But also it means that if somebody else comes along and says, hey, Cryo, we really want you, or EU or Asuna or something, then 100T might not be able to do much about it if that player wants to leave. And it's the same thing with the other teams as well. EG, this is the case for, of course, Fury, this is the case for Khalil, and Crew Esports and Leviathan as well for a number of those players. They've got Aspas, of course, locked down to a longer term deal. But the interesting one, I guess, is the Sentinels piece. So Kaplan, this is true from the coach. Curry, of course, their streamer / substitute. Sassy, Tens, and Zekken, all going to be free agents. So Zelsis is locked down a little bit further on. John QT is locked down a little bit further on. But these other guys are potentially free to walk. Now, I'm not saying they're going to walk because, is there a better offer out there than the Sentinels offer? Not really. But it does mean that they, the team will have to think about ensuring they re-sign their players if they want to. And if Sentinels bomb out of the World Championship, they will have to consider what they do about it. I know there's been talk about Sassy, especially because Pancada's now gone, as to what you do with Sassy, whether, there's always been talk as well for the last year that is he going to retire or whatever. So there's something on that maybe. I think that TenZ is not going to go anywhere, but he is technically, according to the database, a free agent going into next season. So we'll see how that one turns out. EMEA, this is true as well with a number of different players, like Giant X, for example, the players like Cloud, who of course has been very promising. He is free to go as well if he chooses to. So in a few days time on the Thursday, as Sentinels say, grand finals on day one getting underway. Gen.G versus Sentinels, and who knows, right? Maybe they're onto something there, that the first round game they play will potentially turn out to be, as time goes on, one of the most important games of the entire tournament. But very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.